All right, in 45 minutes a day, Bob Quinn, general manager for the Detroit Lions, pretty much gave everybody all the answers they wanted for pretty much neglecting to answer questions or, be available throughout the season. He did a great 40-plus minute, roundtable type session with the Detroit media and pretty much answered every question except for one about Robert Ayers, why he didn't come here. But we back. Motor Street Sports Talk in the building. Y'all know what it is. Hardest working dude in Detroit on YouTube. Ow! In my James Brown voice, all right? Say that jokingly. I want none of these dudes to get offended. You know what I'm saying? Dudes straight be hating, though. But it is what it is. I hear it, but I don't respond for what. But we in the building, bro. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon button. Won't miss another video. And, okay, the big takeaway is, and I'm not going to even elaborate on this, but that Bob Quinn affirmed that they believe he can win a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford. Okay, what's he supposed to say? He signed this dude to a contract. He supposed to say that. Say they ain't gonna move Stafford. Stafford is the quarterback. We understand that, all right. That wouldn't even need to be a question, all right. Jennifer Hammond asked that question, and it was somehow became the headline of that. But he talked about a few things, okay. I'm gonna talk about like a lot of the major sticking points he talked about, and he talks about about Matthew Stafford getting a lot of flack, and you hear Mike Valenti really starting that narrative, and I kind of can believe it just from the outside looking in, saying that Matthew Stafford is nonchalant, he doesn't care. But Bob Quinn says that he sees the work that Matthew Stafford puts in behind the scenes and how he takes each time to show receivers how to run the route, how he stays. But before practice, he working with receivers. After practice, he working with receivers. How he holds everybody accountable and how he's a leader and with the work that he put in. Now, if he's truly putting in that work, and I don't see what reason that Bob Quinn really would have to lie, other than to rationalize why he gave Stafford that contract. When most people didn't believe he deserved that contract, but it's five other teams out of the six highest paid quarterbacks who paid their quarterbacks all that money. They didn't make the playoffs this year. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, Derek Carr. So at the end of the day, that is what it is. Okay, it's the five other quarterbacks that's on some bullshit. All right, they ain't make the playoffs either. So. That is what it is. So he ain't the only general manager that probably perhaps made a mistake. But one thing he did put on his shoulders is the simple fact that, they didn't do a great job, putting talent around Matthew Stafford. He said they got to do a better job supporting Stafford. It's basically on him and Matt Patricia for not putting enough around Stafford and not getting the right guys around him. And to a certain extent, I believe that's fair. That's fair game. That Stafford ain't really never had what he had behind him. But we also seen other quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers who ain't had the greatest of greatest. We see him with second and third string offensive linemen, second and third string running backs like James Stark and Jamal Williams and guys like that, and still pretty much be able to be more functional and prosper more than Matthew Stafford, okay? That's a fact. We didn't see him take other receivers not so good and make them into pretty much good receivers, and Stafford hasn't done that. All the work that Bob Quinn say Stafford is putting in behind the scenes, it just seemed like it ain't paying off. And maybe it's the offensive coordinator. You can put all the work in you want with guys, but if your offensive coordinator ain't putting them in a position to be successful, then there ain't nothing that Stafford can do. And they said they got to do a better job of putting, better personnel. Obviously, the whole right side of the line was a failure. We thinking the left tackle was a failure because after the shoulder injury, Taylor Decker ain't really been nothing. But, he did say they improved in the run game, which I'll do a video about that, and stopping the run since acquiring Damon Snacks Harrison. I'll do a video about that. So, that, square business, they made some type of progress this year. And I think he's right about Matthew Stafford. This organization has to do a better job of supporting Matthew Stafford. But when you get $27 million per year, and north of that probably to come in this contract, well, we expect you to cover up some deficiencies yourself, okay? And that's just what we expect from him. But he goes on to say that pretty much the offensive coordinator position is going to be hired by Matt Patricia. He's going to select that, and he's not 100% sure if Matt Patricia is going to delegate some type of delegate to Matthew Stafford and see if Stafford can reach out and see if he likes this guy. When Jim Caldwell came here, he sat down in one of his interviews and chopped it up with Matthew Stafford and showed him where he can kind of eliminate and get rid or eliminate and make better decisions with some of the mistakes that he's making. So I do think Patricia is going to ask Matthew Stafford who he wants, but he's acting like that, like he don't really know, and he's leaving the offensive coordinator position for Matt Patricia. So Matt Patricia will be hiring his own offensive coordinator. They said that they ain't got rid of no other coaches, but we've seen coaches' name come off the website, so maybe he's really not ready to, say that yet, like who he's going to get rid of, and who's staying and who's going for the Detroit Lions. But that offensive coordinator, position, he says right now is like, they got to wait till it's a period of teams get done, with the playoffs and, and all that other stuff. He said their pool is still wide, and, Matt Patricia is pretty much going to be making that call. So that is what it is. He also goes on to talk about Marvin Jones restructuring. He said he had other trades in position to be made, and he just wanted to have that cap space. So that's why Marvin Jones restructured his contract, so as well. And they also was in talks to trade for Khalil Mack. Okay. He said they also talked to the Raiders about trading for Khalil Mack. He said, but half the league also was in talks with the Oakland Raiders. He said nothing really came of it. Remember, they had the joint practice with the Raiders. And a lot of people were saying, well, the Lions had the inside track to trade for Khalil Mack. So they did acquire about, potentially dipping into the Khalil Mack pool and trying to get Khalil Mack in Detroit. And I believe he did have talks because, like I said before, they had the joint practice, but he probably wasn't willing to give up the 2 first-round draft picks, which are critical, but it proved that Khalil Mack was worth much, much more than just that. But obviously he changed life in Chicago drastically. He had the impact that most quarterbacks that's getting in the top 6 didn't have, top highest paid quarterbacks didn't have. So, that is what it is, okay? We ain't going to just harp about Khalil Mack. Cause if it was a fifth, we all be drunk. We all be in the playoffs talking about Khalil Mack, right? But let's continue to move on. He talked about acquiring Damon Snacks Harrison. He said that, the Giants didn't feel that Harrison was a fit for what they did in New York. He said, in my opinion, I think Damon Snacks Harrison is a fit in any defense, but that's just my opinion. He said that trade got done very, very quickly. And he said in a matter of hours, they got that trade done. I think he traded for a 5th-round pick, and that was a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? That Damon Snacks Harrison, like I said, I'm going to do a video later, he changed the culture amongst that defensive line on stopping the run almost instantly. You know what I'm saying? So, that was a huge, huge win for the Detroit Lions getting Snacks Harrison. And it just looks like Bob Quinn is not just trying to, stay pat. It's always like he's looking to make a deal. It's a lot of things, according to what he was saying in his press conference from around the season, that he was just looking to upgrade. He was looking to upgrade the team. Okay. He always looking to upgrade the team, to be honest. And I like that about him. When he sat there in the Lions' mouth today, and he answered every question, man, for the most part, man. Only question he didn't answer, I remember, was about Robert Ayers, and Pat Caputo was trying to really grill him with some tough questions, you know what I'm saying? And he handled it like a G. He says that the future of Ziggy Ansah remains to be seen. He also talked about, we pretty much know he won't be back, but he said he won't rule out bringing Ansah back in the right scenario, quote unquote. That's like for a cheap price. He would probably bring him back, which I wouldn't be opposed to that. He also said that 35 to 45% of the roster is expected to be turned over. He also calls that league average. But 50% of the roster is going to be turned over then, around there, so it is what it is. So he ain't playing no games about getting dudes in and out who ain't performing. He's also said he thinks Tease Tabor is also still developing. But basically he admitted that he missed. He said he don't bat 1,000%, so he admitted that, he admitted that he missed on Tease Tabor. So it could be a good chance that Tease Tabor gets up out of here, man. So, it is what it is. But like I said, man, if anything, you switch from the safety. He don't work out in camp. You get rid of him. His contract ain't monstrous. But, and also he said on the tight end situation that the team made a run at several top options during free agency, but couldn't make a deal. Also tried to work out a few trades, but Quinn is happy for Ebron's season. Lions will work on upgrading the position this offseason now. But like I said before, man, about Ebron, bro, it was Jim Bob Cooter offense that didn't really it was Jim Bob Cooter's offense that really didn't feature Eric Ebron's talents. Ebron was always rolling out to the flats or, running short routes. Ebron's strong game is actually getting downfield, okay? On wheel routes, deep post routes, corner post routes, deep post routes in the middle of the field, corner routes, just fly routes, streak routes, fade routes. Those are the ability to showcase his athletic ability, his long speed, his agility is Eric Ebron's strong suit. Detroit tried to treat Eric Ebron like he was Brandon Pettigrew or Jason Witten, tried to turn him into a technician and when it comes to route running, when he's just a simple dude that can just use his speed, get upfield, and burn the competition, outrun the coverage. That's Eric Ebron. Detroit, they try to turn him into a 5 to 6 to 7, a 5, 7, 5 in the hitch, 7-step drop, 3-step drop, time and slant, tight end. That ain't him. Or going across the middle on a deep end route, a timing pattern tight end. Eric Ebron is a guy that can get vertical, get the ball at the high point, and outrun the coverage and outjump the coverage. And they never featured that ability from him. And that's on, Bob Quinn. I'm not Bob. That's partly on Bob Quinn for retaining the services of Jim Bob Cooter. But that's on Jim Bob Cooter, okay, really. And that's why Eric Ebron, prospered in Indianapolis. They seen what he did right. Frank Reich, the coach, former Philadelphia Eagle offensive coordinator. They said, okay, this is what he do good. We're going to put him in position to do what he did good. We not going to do, okay, we're going to put him in position and he going to do what we want him to do in my scheme. No, you have to scheme around talented players that have elite talent, especially elite athleticism, and put them in that position. And that's why Luke Wilson didn't work here. Okay, any tight end that come to Detroit is not going to work. Would not going to work under Jim Bob Cooter. Okay, he wants you to, be a bookmark, not a chapter in the offense. He wants you to be a blip, not a trend in the offense. He doesn't utilize his tight ends enough. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened with Eric Ebron, in my opinion. So, like I said before, they realized they got a problem with Ebron without Ebron, with Jim Bob Cooter. They got rid of him. So I can respect the swiftness in their move. At least they ain't hanging on. They ain't gonna hang on to T's Tabor if they don't see him developing. They didn't hang on to Jim Bob Cooter and then admit their wrongs towards the end of the season. I can respect that. Just, okay, I was wrong. We gave him a shot. Let's keep it moving. Okay, about the Golden Tate thing. He did address the Golden Tate situation. He said, Quinn said he needs short and long-term views on things. Quinn said he got a lot of trade calls in August, but most were insulting. Philadelphia called trade deadline morning and raised the offer 90 minutes later. Too good to refuse, okay? And he said he got a lot of trade calls before. He said they was insulting, so you probably was looking for like a 5th, 6th, 7th round draft picks. And that's what you were looking at, okay? So they knew, look here, man, with people mad, and I told people that they was going to trade Golden Tate, okay, to kind of end this video, and I wrap it up how I felt about the press conference. I told people they was going to trade Golden Tate because guess what? The numbers was too far apart. Nobody in the league is going to pay Golden Tate what he trying to get paid. First time around he left Seattle, he wasn't going to get paid what he was going to try to get paid because Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham, all them dudes was in the draft, bro. So he got diminished because of strong receiver draft. Now this time around, it ain't such a strong receiver draft, okay? So somebody might pay the price for Golden Tate. They might pay the price for him or close to his price. But I might have a small prediction that he may be back in Detroit. He might come back and try to, come back to the table and take that offer, in my opinion, okay? But I'm not sure if Detroit going to want to deal with him. But, people in Detroit got mad they traded Golden Tate, right? I don't understand why. You wasn't going to be able to resign him. I told people about Ndamukong Suh. I told people about Calvin Johnson that would listen. These dudes about to get ready to leave here, man. You have to trade to get something for him. And that's one of the reasons I like Bob Quinn. He's swift. He always looking to upgrade the team. I like that. And he knew that he wasn't going to sign Golden Tate back, so you trade him. You knew this wasn't a playoff caliber team. This team wasn't making a Super Bowl run. You already traded. You gave some picks up already. So what he done did is he done went on and traded Golden Tate and got something for him. And he probably not ruling out the possibility of bringing Golden Tate back neither. So you can't just sit there and you can't come with an extension all summer with him. You didn't come with an extension all year. You guys still was too far apart. Dude, what you want to do? You want Golden Tate to walk for free? Or you want to trade something for him? And a lot of people want to get emotionally attached, but you have to get something for these players, man. Okay? They can't just walk out the door and lose your talent for nothing. He got a 3rd round pick. That's what it was. He got a 3rd round pick. So I ain't mad at him. But overall, I was impressed how Bob Quinn handled this press conference. I linked the full press conference in the description so you guys can watch it. I watched all 44 minutes of it, man. He went up there in the lion's mouth, ironically, and he answered every question except for the Robert Ayers question, man. And, you know, he made up for not making appearances through the season. But, you know, instead of just sitting up there for 45 minutes at the end of the season, instead of 10 or 15 minutes, he should just start going, speaking to the media 5 to 10 minutes every week during the season. He won't have to stand up there for damn near an hour and answer all the questions like he do. He need to be more accessible, but the Lions always move like the CIA, but they always play like the PAL League or something like that. So maybe they should try to, you know, fix that rapport with the Detroit media. But y'all know it is Motor City Sports Talk. We on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out, hit the subscribe button, bell icon. Email is in the description as well. You want to make a donation to the channel, that link's in the description as well. Appreciate everybody for checking in. More Lions content and Motor City content on the way.